Good morning or afternoon or whatever time of day it is for you. My name is Rasheen Jones, and today we're going to be looking at the if function, right? So right now you see me here with Microsoft Excel, but I just want to tell you that regardless of what spreadsheet program you might use, you should be able to do the if function because that's a feature of many spreadsheet programs. So as much as I have this in Excel right now, you can also do this very same in, for example, WPS Office, which is offered free, or you could use it in your Google spreadsheets, right? So either one of these programs that you have, right, you can actually use the spreadsheets program to get this done. So let's try to understand what the concept of an if function is. It really is you're basically checking if something is true or not, right? And if it's true, you're going to carry out a certain thing. And if it's false, you're going to carry out a certain other thing, right? So we do have an example here. This is a website I'm going to show you later. Excel if function, right? And as it says, the first thing is if a particular condition is true, then what value do we give if it's true? And subsequently, we can also put in a false statement. So I have an example here with if, and what we're going to be doing is here I've created a little table of the amount of fruits. So let's say a person was going on a trip for example 2 or 3 days, and we want to just make sure that they have enough fruits to last those days, right? So here we have this Excel spreadsheet that has the type of fruits. One, sufficient count, meaning do you have enough? So 3 oranges would be sufficient, 8 bananas would be sufficient, 2 would be sufficient, pineapples, and plums 24. Amount the person actually owns, and if it fulfills that criteria, we say yes, right? And you can actually see the if function up here. Now, actually, let's delete these so you can see how that works. So we're checking if the person has a sufficient amount of fruits based on how much they own. So basically we're saying, does the amount owned equal to or exceed the amount that we need, which is the sufficient amount? So we're going to go if, and you just have to pay attention to the function a bit. It tells you, checks whether a condition is met, returns one value if true and another if false. So let's open the bracket, and the first thing is your logical test, which is the condition. So we're checking, first of all, if the person, the amount that they own is greater than or equal to, and these are our operators that we have for the if function, greater or equal to the sufficient count, which is how much that they'll need. And then if we press comma here, value if true, we want to say enough is yes. Right, we can say yes. And because we're using words, we have to put in quotation marks. If, however, you're going to leave a value like 1 or, some other value, then you can actually use it just as numbers. And value if false, we'll say get more of this fruit. And we'll close quotation mark and close our bracket. Once you press enter, what you can expect is if the amount that we own is greater than or equal to the sufficient amount, then we'll say, yeah, they have enough fruits. What do you think is going to be for the second one? So is the amount that we own greater than or equal to the sufficient count? So we go, well, yes, here it is, that we have 12 bananas and we only need 8, or we need enough. 8 would be enough. So we go down and you'll see yes. Same thing here. The amount that we own is 1, sufficient count is 2. So it's going to be less than, so therefore it's going to say get more of this fruit. And here we go again, plums. Amount owned 25, how much we need? 24. And so we're going to say yes. Now, if you were to change any of these values, so for example, we suddenly only have 2 oranges, it's going to change this to get more of this fruit because it's still running the condition based on the values we have here. Okay? So that's what we're doing for that. So if you were to take this into any other spreadsheet program and run the same things, it would give you the same results. So if we were to just copy this whole thing and jump to, for example, WPS Office, and I just click paste, it's going to have the same functions. Right here it says get more of this fruit. It says yes. So what this has done is actually pasted our results. We have to just rewrite the function and say the same thing just to reiterate. If, an open bracket, value, logical test is the amount that we own greater than or equal to the sufficient count. You can say, sorry, see it says false. Say yes. And then after that, comma, you can tell it no. Not enough fruits, comma, buy more. So the amount we own is not enough. If we were to drag this down, just like the others, we get a similar result. Okay? So that's a basic if function. Right? And we're just doing it with WPS Office just now. We could do the same thing with Google Spreadsheets. You'd get the same results. Right? So let's go to the second one. So we've created a little thing here. We want to say Snack Sales Inc. gives commissions to its sellers based on the amount of money they make. If they sell 100 units, they get a commission of 10% of the profits of the sale. If they sell 200 units of candy, they get a 22% commission on the profits of the sale. Create a spreadsheet for a seller which has the name of the snacks. Probably put snacks here. The unit cost, the sale price, and the profits made. Include also the number of units sold and the commission amount. We put commission amount or commission percentage and amount. And if the employee is an employee of the month, give them an additional 10% as a bonus. So we say bonus. So we'll see. So if the employee's type is regular, we'll give them a bonus. So we're going to just do something real quick. So we already have now a spreadsheet here. And I could actually just empty this and retype it. These are just random numbers that we have. So somebody might buy something for $43.50 and sell it for $100. Profit made that much. How much they sold, we just put in some random numbers because we're just going to test it out. All right, so commission percentage is if they sell 100 units, probably put or more, because this is going to give us a double 200 units of candy or more, they get 22% commission on the profits of the sale. So we could do this one of two ways. If we add this bonus count, it actually takes off a little bit of the pressure. So we're going to do this two ways. Let me duplicate this sheet so we can show you both ways. So sales, snack, sales 1. And you can probably just take a quick screenshot of what we have here and just create your own little template. So you just need to have all these. All these other ones are going to be blank. Just create everything else and regular. Eventually, we're going to change this to something else. But for now, you can just take a quick screenshot and you just have this. All right. So next piece. So snack sales 1, and I'm going to duplicate this. So we have move or copy. I'm going to This one we're going to create a copy, and it's going to be in the same book. So we have snack sales and snack sales 2. Let's rename this to snack sales 2. So we'll be using one for now. The second one, we won't use the bonus. We're going to just incorporate the bonus inside our commission percentage here. It'll be an additional 10% of sales. Of profits, sorry. So just copy that, make sure it's the same thing for both. Paste that. And there we go. Great. So this first one, we can just make it a little bit easier on ourselves by doing this. 1, let's check. Was this person a regular customer, or were they a, what do you call it? Or were they a, was it employee of the month? So we can say bonus equals if this employee type, oh, hold on, sorry. We forgot to open our brackets. So if this thing, whatever is in here, this value is equal to I'm going to open bracket. We could say if it's equal to employee of the month, and you have to be careful. It has to be case sensitive. You have to put exactly that in the proper case, meaning where you have uppercase E for employee and uppercase M for month, when you're typing it inside your employee type, it has to be the same one. So we're checking if this, which is B4, is equal to employee of the month, then they're going to get an additional bonus of the 10%. Right, so 10%. Otherwise, they'll get nothing. And there we can actually just leave values there. So right now, because we don't have employee of the month, then we don't give them, we don't have employee month, so we don't give them a bonus. If we also now change this to employee of the month, then we start seeing the bonus. Now here's something to note. You saw me drag this just now, and I drag down, and as I drag down, it actually changes the number here, the cell number. So this says B4, this is going to say B5. So we need to make sure that this is locked. So for this one, we have to use what we call an absolute cell referencing value. You can just press F4 on the keyboard. If, however, you don't have a keyboard, with F4, like let's say you're doing this from your phone, you can just type in $B $4, and it does the same thing. So now that that's set, and we press that and carry this across like so, we can see that now the bonus is 0.1. Now we could go a step further and say this will only happen, for example, they'll get the additional 10% on their commission, right? So for example here, instead of just giving them the 10%, we can check if they actually made any commission before giving them the 10%. So you have to make a certain percentage of sales before you can get the bonus, right? So we could go in and start this over and say, hey, if this thing, right, is equal to, now put it here, employee of the month, right? Then, if that is true, this is where we're putting another if inside the question. So if this is true, then we're going to ask another question. If they made commission, if their commission value is greater than 0, means if they made any commission at all, then we can give them the additional 10%. Otherwise, they get nothing. And then, now that you've closed that, so you have if, this is if it's true. Now we've closed that if, just make a note of that, press comma, and if it's false, then there is no bonus. Right, so right now everything is going to be blank. Why? Because there's no commissions here. So if we had like 5%, then that changes to an additional 10%, right? Cool. So you can actually put an if inside of another if. So if the first one meets a condition, then we can check something else. It's like, for example, if you had milk in the fridge. If you have milk in the fridge, yes, then check if the milk is spoiled. If the milk is spoiled, don't drink it. If it is not spoiled, then you can drink it. Otherwise, if you had no milk in the fridge, don't bother open the fridge at all. Something kind of like that. So we're going to add to the commission bit, because now we have to create another if here. And this if is a simpler if. It's going to say if the number of units sold, that's this, is greater than, and I'll do this, greater than 100, then we're going to check something else, because remember 200 is greater than 100. If it's greater than 100, then let's check if it's, let's say, greater than or equal to. Then check if the same value, you have to open your bracket too. What I usually do is try to open and close your brackets. That way you don't forget later. So if F7 is greater than or equal to 200, then because of that additional 200, they're going to get 22% commission, right? Otherwise, if it's not 200, then we go back to the 10%, right? Comma. That's going back to the outer one also. If it's greater than or less than 100, greater than or equal to 100, then they'll get commission. If it's not, then they get 0%. Great. So I found a typo in my stuff because I've forgotten. What have I forgotten? I have a bracket here for this if. I have a if inside here. I don't think I need a second if. I think I made a mistake here. There we go. All right, there we go. So here's the cool thing. We got over 100 units sold, but we didn't get 200 units sold. So we're only going to get 10% here. Actually, let's change these to percentages, right? Here now we have 210. So the commission value that we should see is 22, right? Let's drag this down and see. And we're seeing the 22. Why? Because we first checked, is this over 100? If it is, then check if it's over 200. And so it is. So therefore, you're going to get 22%. And if not, it's going to revert back to that 10%. And if it's not greater than or equal to 100, then we're not going to give any bonuses at all. Good? All right, this one now. We have 312. Now, we don't have any commissions for anything above 300. So what's going to happen is that you're going to only get the 22%. And because you got the 22% and you are the employee of the month, then you're getting that additional 10% bonus, right? So the next thing, we only sold 70 here. So what are we going to get? We're not going to get any bonuses. And because we don't get any bonuses here, there's no additional bonus to get. So let's continue. Same thing again. 0, 0. The last one, 98 units sold, then we're not going to get an additional bonus there. Cool. Now we actually need to find out, and I didn't put this in the last one, but we need to find out exactly how much money was made. So total profit, right? What would we do to calculate total profit? Of course, you'd say this times, you put it here, equals to this times that. And that's how much profit they made, right? And we just expand this because we've seen those numbers there. You can actually double click on this and you will see all those showing up. So they actually made quite a bit of profit when it comes to how much units that they sold. And if you wanted to, you could just do a quick total here. Total. And just do a equal to the sum of open bracket and just click and drag this because it's going to go for that range rather than typing it individually, and just press enter and you see the total sum there. Now let's find out how much bonus they got. Cool. So they get a bonus in terms of how much things they got sold. So let's look at that. It says if the employee is an employee of the month, give an additional 10% bonus as profit as bonus. So I'm going to do one total after bonus. Total after bonus is equal to this times so we're going to check. So we want to get the total after the bonus. That's the total profit plus the percentage on the commissions, right? So we go this plus, you know, you would probably say these two together. Yeah, that plus that times this again, which means you're basically adding up these two, whatever you get. So this one will be 20% times that, which will only give you 20% of the result. And when you add it to that, you're getting that much bonus. Same thing for here. Let's carry this down all the way down. Let me see that. Okay. So with that done, that's how you can use if. You can use if to check if something is true, and then inside that question, you could also check again if it is additionally true. All right, so let's check out some of the exercises that are available on that website. Let's just quickly browse through it. So it actually talks about the if function for Excel, and it does break it down. First is an if condition if value is true, and then also value if false. And the reason why they have the square brackets is that because this is an optional thing. So you don't actually have to leave a value inside here if it's false. You can just go with what happens when it's true. And if it's false, there's just going to be no change. Right? So we looked at the operator as well. So if you want to check if something is equal to, you'd use the equal sign. Not equal to, then you have less than, greater than, less than, equal to, and so on and so forth. So these are some examples of logical statements checking if 1 is equal to 1, 1 is equal to 2, result would be false. Right? So let's go down here. They have a very simple one here where it's checking speed. Checking if the speed is fast or slow. Let's actually do that one. Essentially to say if your speed is a certain value, so it says 30, right? Or not 30. So if it's 30 or greater than 30, it's fast. If it's not, then we say slow. So let's see how that would work. Let's call this one speed. Now this might be a little bit simpler. Right, we can just call this maybe speed gun. And we can just make this bigger. like going here. I'll just kind of zoom in a bit. All right. So we're checking speed. Or speed passing. So, you know, sometimes they have those little speed checkpoints. I don't know if they do it in Jamaica here, but sometimes when you're driving on along some roads, when you pass it, it tells you what speed you were going at. Right, so speed passing and speed limit. So we're going to kind of change it up a bit. So let's say you were going, probably put a little comment, right? Just do this. So let's say the speed limit is, I don't know, 50. Right, speed limit in maybe kilometers per hour, right? Same thing here. So let's say the speed limit is 60, right? So they're passing at 60. Therefore, we're checking if your speed, as in your speed when you're passing, is greater than the speed limit, then we're going to say, we're going to say slow down. Right? We can say slow down. Cool. And we're going to say, and if it's false, then we're saying too fast. Well, no, it's going to be the same thing. Too fast. You are in the speed limit. Cool. So if somebody is driving and they're driving, that says slow down. If they're driving at, say, 40, says you are in the speed limit. And that's just another simple way of doing it, right? Another way we could have done it is if we said we want to put an actual value here. So if we say if you're just driving generally and you're driving at 50, I mean you wouldn't need this anymore. So we could actually, you know, hide that layer. If we say, hey, if B2 is greater than 50, tell it to slow down. So if we say this person driving at 70, then it says slow down. So that's how your if statements can work. Let's check another couple of exercises that they have. So it says you can actually combine your if with other Excel functions, which reminds me of the previous one. So for example, we went and we did a snack sales number 2. So we're actually going to do that now. So let's say instead of saying commission percentage, we can say total bonus percent. Right? Now, remember our original says that we would have actually had a bonus if they have one, their employee of the month or not. So we're going to check everything all at once. This one's going to be a little bit more complicated though. So the total bonus, essentially, if you're a regular person, then you wouldn't get any additional bonus. But if you are an employee of the month, then you start getting a bonus. So we're going to do this. First of all, let's check if you are an employee of the month. So first thing is if this thing here, B4, is equal to employee of the month, then we can start doing some calculations, right? So if total units sold is equal to that much, perhaps we should have an idea of, because we did it in the first one, we had an idea of how much profits they made in total. So let's do that calculation first. So rather than put the total bonus, we'll put total profits first. So we're gonna do equal to that times this. So we can actually see how much profits we made first before we start calculating the bonuses. So let's do the bonuses now. Bonus percent. All right, all right, so let's play with this again. Or rather, let's create now a function for our bonuses. Because this one's going to be a relatively complex looking one, what we're going to do is just create what we call a flow chart. Just something to help guide us as to how to proceed with this whole thing here. So we're going to start off with this. If the person is an employee of the month, I'm going to say emp of month. Are they the employee of the month? And so we have a decision to make. Right? You can say yes and no. If they are the employee of the month, then let's check something else. Did they sell more than 100? Did they sell 100 or more units? Greater than or equal to 100? Did they sell more than 100 or so units? And then we say yeah, yes, and no. So if they sold 100, above 100, then we can check, hey, are they actually above or equal to 200? And if they are, then give them 32% commission. If not, right, so this is yes, this is no. If they didn't, then if they're greater than or equal to, right, so if they're greater than or equal to 200, give them a 32% commission. If they are greater than 10, greater than 100, right, if it's no, then they'll get 0%. If they are greater than 100, yes, but not greater than that, then they're going to get 20% commission because of the 10% plus the additional 10% because they're employee of the month. If they are not greater than 100%, so that's a no. So yes, employee of the month, yeah. And if, you know, the criteria is that, then, you know, them just get 0%. Next part. Are they employee of the month? Nah. If they're not employee of the month, we still have to check out something. Is it greater than or equal to 100? And you'll get something like, you know, you have to check. So you have to say yes or no. Say yes or no. If they are indeed greater than 100, then check also, are they greater than or equal to 200? Yeah or no. If it's yes, if it's no. So if it's yes, they are greater than 200, then they get the additional commission. They get the 22%. Because of the 20, they get the 22, but they don't get the additional 10. This one, however, if they were not greater than 200, but they were greater than 100, then they'll get the 10%. And if it's no, that they are greater than 100, then it's just 0. Right? And over here, same thing. If they're not employee of the month and there's no greater than or equal to 100, then it's really just nothing. So with that knowledge, let's actually create now our bonus. We're going to check a few things first. So let's work with one side first. We're going to work with the side on the left side here and create our if functions based on that. So we say if this person, right, for the bonuses, if they are indeed the employee of the month, right, that's B4. If B4 equals to employee of the month, right? B4 equal employee of the month, then guess what? Yeah. We have to check something. What's the value if true? Check if the amount of sold units as F7, if F7 is greater than or equal to 100 units sold. And guess what? If it is, right? So let's do this of the if, and I kind of have to just break that down there. So if it's greater than or equal to 100, then what? Check if it's greater than or equal to 200. So if F7 again is greater than or equal to 200, comma, then what? If it is, then give them their 32%. Otherwise, right? So we're here now. If they are that, give them that. If not, that. So at 32, if not, then give them their 0% commission. Now we go back outside. That's the 200%. That's if they sold 200 units. Great. Right? And outside of the 100, if it's not fulfilling that criteria, then we see 0. No commission. Cool. Now, this is just if it's the employee of the month. Now for the next part, right? What's the value if you're not the employee of the month then? Well, we still have to do the checks. And you can actually just copy and paste over what you see here. So for example, if you wanted to, you just copy here, because this carries it all the way down. But let's build it from scratch. We're going to start off here, right side. So if you are not the employee of the month, then we have to check how much sales you've made. So if, and again, F7 is greater than or equal to 100, then if it is, we have to check if they've actually sold, if F7 is greater than or equal to 200. And if that's the case, give them the 22%. Right? And if it's not the case, give them their 10%, because then that would fall back on it being the case where it is less than 200, but greater than 100. Okay? So that's that part for that. And then we're here now. All right, so the bracket 0%, because that's that part. And so once you're finished with that, just close it, and we should see that. Are we employee of the month? What's going on with this? We're not employee of the month, but our bonus actually supposed to give us at least 10%. So I'm going to check here. If that's greater than 100, If that's that, then that's that. So we don't actually put that there. $32. Otherwise, oh, whoops. Otherwise, not 100, not 0. Sorry, that's supposed to be. If it's less than 100, then you get the 20. That's supposed to be the 20% here. That's the reason why it's giving that issue. So we have 20% here. All right. So that's the error I made. That should have been a 20 rather than a 0. Right. And so the other ones would prove true. So let's continue. If we were to drag this down, what we can expect is that as you are employee of the month and you've made 200 or more, you should see a 32% here, or 22% rather. Right? It actually should be 32%. So let's check out why that is. So if they are employee of the month and F8 is greater than 100, which it is, check if that's also greater than 200. If it is, give them 32%. Otherwise, 20%. Value if false. Right. Yes. So if you are that, you get 32. If you're not, then that. If it's 100. If it's greater than 100 here, then this should not read that. If it's greater than 200, it should be greater than 100. It should be 10%. Oh wait, no. Okay, employee of the month. That's equal to, greater than or equal to 100. If that's equal to 200, then you're supposed to get 32%. Otherwise, you get 20% because it's that. And if none of those are true, then it's supposed to be, yeah, it's supposed to be 0. If you're 100, that's that, and that. Oh, okay. B5. Oh. Ew. I know what's going on. It's the absolute cell referencing value. Yeah. I think that's it. Yeah, there we go. So that's important too. So the new function now reads this. Right? So down here, we've sold 300. Should get a 32% there. This one is 70. Shouldn't get a commission there. Next one is that. Shouldn't get a commission. This one should not get a commission. If we had just 100, then it should change to the 20 because of the commission. Right? So that's how you'd create a if function. You kind of have, if to kind of logically break it down, I'd recommend definitely creating your little flow chart here. Just check if, yes, this is going to happen. Then we just have to check down, right? And then that will enable you to kind of understand it a little bit better. So those are some ways you can actually use the if then else function. There's another one you could use probably if you were going to do something like checking if something is grade A, B, or C. Check your report card kind of a thing. You could do something like this. Let's do one more. Score versus grade. So let's erase what we have here. So how do we want this to work out? Well, let's do one. Probably say if the person, so I'll just go work from a university standpoint. If the person has, let's say, If their grade is less than 50, just call it a fail, right? If it's greater than, so we'll go with the grades like this. If you're at 85 and above, or greater than 85, greater than or equal to 85, you're getting an A. If you are at, say, 70, then you're getting a B. And if you're about greater than or equal to 50, you're getting a C. But if it's less than 50, then you're getting an F. I don't even care about D or whatever. So let's create that. Let's say somebody is, a class grade sheet. Maybe student. We're just putting like probably 3 students, 4 students. Grade sheet. So boom, let's get this a bit more up, and we'll have things like first name, last name, and score and grade. We'll also have a pass or fail, right, where we say, and we can actually do a conditional formatting too. So let's create some names. Rohan, Lawrence, Christy, Ferguson, Kemoy, no, Kemoy, Fraser, why not? Andrew, Sutherland, Keisha Smith, it's a random name. Troy, Bartley. Well, I don't know these names. Just making up names as we go along. All right, so let's say they get some scores. Let's say somebody got 45, 70, 88, 67. She get 100. Troy got something like 79. Now let's create an if statement that checks these criteria. So as I did before, sometimes when you're doing what we call these nested ifs, you want to just make sure that things are not too much on your brain. Sometimes it's nice to write it out. So we're checking the grades. So score. So we're starting off here. Is it greater than 0? Yes. No. So if yeah, then no. If it's greater than 0, then it's 0. It's just simple. Or we say F. Or better yet, is it greater than 49? If it's greater than 49, yes, it's an F. If it's not. Next thing, is it greater than, because we have to keep going up. Is it greater than 50? Is it greater than or equal to 50? Greater than, equal to 50. Yeah? No. If not, then you're getting a C. If yes, check again. Is it greater than or equal to 70? No. Then that's a B. If it's a yes, so let's do this. Yes, no. If it's a yes, then if it's a no, you're getting a B. If it's a yes, we have to continue checking. Is it greater than or equal to 85? Yeah. Then, I don't know. Say no. Hold on, let's check. If it's greater than or equal to 50, yes. C for no. Okay, good. Is it greater than or equal to that? Check that. All right, cool. If this is greater than or equal to, let me check something here. If this is greater than or equal to 49, no, F. Yes, check if it's greater than or equal to 50. Right, if it is greater than or equal to 50, then it's a C typically. So I think for both of these, it's going to be C. Because if you reach 50, greater than 49 is 50. Right? Greater than 49 is 50. If so, then C. If we're greater than or equal to 50, check if it's greater than or equal to 70. If it is greater than or equal to 70, check if it's greater than or equal to 85. If it's greater than or equal to 85, then we will go to an A. If not, we default to B. If it's greater than or equal to that, and it falls on that, then at 70, we're just gonna defer to B, to C. That's if it's not greater than, that. Right? So that way we get an idea of what's happening. Right? So that's what we're doing. So if you're it's basically saying if you're within the range of 70 to 85, you're going to get a B. If you're within the range of 50 to 70, right, you're going to get a C. So let's actually create now our thing here. So that's the grade. So equal, I'm going to start off. Is your score, is if your score, right, is equal to, sorry, not the word score. If this thing is greater than 49, right? Value if true. Well, let's put in the value false first. Put another bracket here and put F. And you have to put in quotation marks because it's words. Cool. So value if true, 49. If it's 49, so C4, 49. Right, where were we? Sorry about that. So let's finish this. So we start off with if C4 is greater than 49, that this one here is if it's false, put in an F. If it is indeed greater than 49, do another if. And we're going to check if it's greater than or equal to 50. So greater than or equal to 50, right? If it's greater than or equal to 50, and by the way, we have to check what is greater than or equal to 50. So if this score is greater than or equal to 50 per se, then what if it's true? Well, if it's true, then we have to check if it's greater than or equal to 70. Then if that's true, then greater than or equal to 85. So what we'll do for now is kind of close off this one because we don't want to get lost in all the brackets, right? So if it's greater than or equal to 50, and I'm just going to put that here. Greater than or equal to 50, comma, value if true, is, we're going to check if, and I'm going to open and close that one at the same time. If or value, that's C4, is greater than or equal to 70. 70, right? So if C4 is greater than or equal to 70, comma, the value if true is if it's greater than or equal to 85. So we go if, again, open and close. If C if C4 is greater than or equal to 85, then the value is going to be A. Right? We don't need to worry about if it's, so if it's that's an A, then we don't really need to worry about it too much because we're going to fall back on the next one. So we don't need to actually have a value for no if we don't want it. But what we can do, actually, let's actually put in a value for no. If it's not, then the next result would be a B. Right? Next one is if this one, so we're here, we've done this and this one. If that one is false, then we're going to be getting a C. So C. And last one, now we have two C's. This one is if the 50 is not as is. Right? I think it's C twice. I'm going to check if that is correct. I think it should work. And last one of these is that. And if we close this up, I think we're missing one of them. If, then this if is closed by here. Oh, we forgot the comma. And then this one is closed by here, comma F. Yeah. So Lawrence fails. It's supposed to be a B. This one should be an A. This one should be a B or C because it's lower than the 70. This one will give us an A, and this one will give us a B. Now for the pass or fail, we can just check if if it's greater than or equal to 50. For example, this. If this, we can do this. And this is a whole bunch of if questions. So if your score is greater than or equal to 50, then we can say you passed. PASS. And if it's not, then you failed. So we have that done. So we have fail and pass and a bunch of passes afterwards. Now, here's a cool thing. If you wanted to do what we call conditional formatting, right? Conditional formatting means that you can change the way something looks based on a particular condition. And this will really come in handy for things like these, where, for example, you have the score or pass and fail. So, for example, here you have these things. Here we go, conditional formatting. All right, so here we go, highlight cell rules, and you have greater than or less than, right? So if it says, for example, if the text contains fail, then fill with light red and dark red text, boom. So same highlighting areas, you have to just select the entire, range there. So again, conditional formatting. If the cell rules say, or text that contains pass, then change this to a green fill with dark green text. And over here, you can actually go in here, choose conditional formatting. You have color scales, and you can just choose colors from, light to dark, depending on. Oh, wait, it doesn't have a value for those. So best to use it with something that has numbers. So we can go color scales, and the brightest colors or the highest values would be a deeper green. The lowest values would be like a red. And that's it for if functions. If you have any other questions, you know how to reach me. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something, and take care, and God bless you.